Thank you for checking out the video. In this video we're going to discuss Demon Hunters as they are coming to live leading up to the release of the Legion expansion. In this video we're going to talk about Demon Hunters at level 100 and some of the abilities that they will unlock. This will not be an in-depth guide of Demon Hunter. Not going to talk about future talents. We're just going to give a basic overview on how to play the class and give people some insight if it's something they might want to play. In the video we're going to discuss the talents, the two talents that you will unlock, and what I suggest you should use for leveling. We're going to talk about the offensive abilities that they have available and the basic damage rotation. We're going to talk about defensive abilities that they have, and we're also going to talk about the CC and some of the other miscellaneous abilities that Demon Hunters will have in Legion. So let's get started with the talents that we're going to be using. The first talent in the first tier that I suggest using is Fel Mastery, and that'll be the tier 1 first talent, all the way to the left. And what that does is increases Fel Rush damage by 50% and grants 25 Fury if a target's hit. I'll go into Fel Rush and what it is. I'm just giving you the talents first so you are aware when it comes that time that you know which ones to pick. And for the second tier we're going to pick Prepared, which will be the first talent as well in the second tier. And what that does is it reduces the cooldown of Vengeful Retreat by 10 seconds, and it generates 40 Fury over 5 seconds if it damages one enemy. So we're talking about Fury. Let's go over Demon Hunter's resources. So a Demon Hunter is a melee class that deals physical damage and also shadow damage. Its main resource is Fury. And Fury starts off at 0, and you build it up with your various abilities to use your other damaging abilities that'll be stronger that cost Fury. Let's talk about some of the offensive abilities that we have. The first main attack that you'll be using is Demon Bite. And what Demon Bite is it's your Fury builder. It's just your basic melee attack. It has no cost, and you can use it as will. The way you'll be using this is just in between when you're out of Fury, after using your other abilities. It'll be kind of your spammable attack to get your Fury back up to deal more damage. Your second ability is going to be Chaos Strike. And what Chaos Strike does, it's single target melee damage. It costs 40 Fury, and when you crit with Chaos Strike, it refunds 20 Fury back to you. Your third ability is going to be Blade Dance. And Blade Dance is a attack that does damage to all nearby enemies and increases your dodge by 100% for 1 second. It costs 35 Fury and has a 10-second cooldown. Now these three abilities are going to be your basic damage rotation outside of cooldowns. You want to use Blade Dance on cooldown, which is every 10 seconds, so you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on your resources, that when that cooldown comes up you're able to use it. The fourth ability we're going to talk about is Fel Rush. And Fel Rush, going back to the first talent we chose, by taking that talent it adds some Fury regen generation to your Fel Rush ability, and Fel Rush is a mobility move as well as an attack. So what it does is it charges you, leaps you forward to your enemy, and as long as you hit a target, it'll generate 25 Fury. It costs nothing. It has no resource cost, so you can use it right out of the gate with no resources built up. And it has 2 charges with a 10-second cooldown on each recharge. Your big offensive cooldown that we're going to talk about next is Metamorphosis. And what Metamorphosis does is it leaps you in the air, dealing damage as you land, transforming you into a demon-looking model. And it strikes all enemies within 8 yards and also stunning all enemies in 8 yards for 3 seconds. Increases your haste by 25%. And what it does is it replaces those first 2 abilities we talked about into stronger abilities. And your Metamorphosis will last for 30 seconds, and it has a 5-minute cooldown. So this is really your big offensive. When you're ready to do your big damage, this is when you want to use it, but you only have it, for 30 seconds, and it's a 5-minute cooldown. And what Metamorphosis does is it turns your Chaos Strike into Annihilation and your Blade Dance into Death Sweep. And they're the same abilities, they have the same cooldowns, but what it is they're just empowered and do more damage than without it. The next move I want to talk about is I-Beam, and what I-Beam is, it's a 45-second cooldown. It costs 50 Fury, and it blasts all enemies in front of you for 2 seconds, and it's channeled. The nice thing about I-Beam is it always crits, so it's really going to be a lot of damage. The 45-second cooldown, it would be smart to use it when you have Metamorphosis available. If you're going to Metamorphosis, you should make sure you have I-Beam available, just for the extra damage. It is channeled. It's a 2-second channeled cast, which means it is interruptible. So someone can stop your I-Beam. It does not lock you out from doing any other of your attacks. All your attacks will still work, but it can't stop that damage. And the last offensive ability that you'll have available at level 100 is Throw Glaive, which has no resource cost. It's a 10-second cooldown. You have 1 charge, and it's just a ranged attack that can also cleave and hit multiple targets. It can hit up to 2 additional targets. This is not a priority in your damage rotation. It can be used if an enemy is getting away and you're trying to get a last hit in. But otherwise, it is not going to be in your basic rotation of Chaos Strike and Blade Dance. So that's pretty much all your offensive abilities that you'll have after getting level 100. You'll unlock them as you're going through the intro scenario from creating your Demon Hunter. So the next thing I want to talk about is your defensive abilities. Your first defensive ability is going to be your Interrupt, which is Consume Magic. It's a 15-second cooldown, and it locks out the School of Magic that you interrupt for 3 seconds. And if you get a successful interrupt, it generates 50 Fury. So it's very advantageous for the Fury regeneration if you get a successful interrupt, so you want to make sure you don't waste it and get juked on a kick or something like that. Your next defensive ability is going to be Blur, which is a 1-minute cooldown. It increases your dodge by 50% and reduces all damage done by 35% for 10 seconds. What it does is it turns you into this little green. You can see the animation, and this is going to be, you want to make sure you use this at times where you know you're going to be taking a lot of damage. The 1-minute cooldown is nice, but it's really your only big defensive. The next ability I'm going to talk about is Darkness, which is another defensive, but it's on a 3-minute cooldown and it's not as powerful. And what Darkness does is it grants you and everyone, every friendly target within 8 yard radius, 20% chance to avoid all damage of an attack. And this lasts for 8 seconds. This is on a 3-minute cooldown. It's not as strong. Here's the animation. Here's what it looks like. So everyone within this radius will have a 20% chance to not take any damage from an attack. Your next defensive and your last defensive that you'll have available at level 100 is going to be Vengeful Retreat. And this was the 2nd tier talent that we took. And how that affects it is Vengeful Retreat, when you hit a nearby target, it'll hit a nearby target for some damage, and then it'll shoot you backwards, and slowing all nearby enemies by 70% for 3 seconds. It generates 40 Fury over 5 seconds. That's the talent that we got in the 2nd tier. So when you're using that to get away, it's not only defensive as a good getaway to get away from a target if you want to get and run and you can fell rush away, but it's also can be a good offensive move. If you know you're running low on resources and you need to get some energy fast or some fury fast, you can Vengeful Retreat and then fell rush into your target, which will pretty much get you to full fury to put out some big damage. That's all the defensives you'll have at level 100. This will change obviously as you level and you unlock talents and honor talents for PvP. The next abilities I want to talk about is your CC and then the couple other miscellaneous abilities that haven't been mentioned. You have two CC abilities as a demon hunter. Your first being Imprison, which incapacitates a demon for 1 minute. So it should be useful in the leveling zones for Legion as you're trying to level to 110. Later on in the game, you can, as you hit 110, one of the honor talents is you can use incapacitate your Imprison on any target. But that's something that is not going to affect you for quite a while. Your second CC is Chaos Nova, and it costs 30 Fury, so this isn't something you can use just right off the bat. It's something you have to actually have resources to use. And it is a 5-second stun that hits all nearby enemies. It does a little bit of damage, and it also stuns all nearby enemies for 5 seconds. So it's similar to like a Windwalker's leg sweep, or even a Shockwave, except Shockwave will only hit in front, whereas this will hit everyone in the radius around you. And this is on a 1 minute cooldown, so it's not the most efficient CC as it's 1 minute in length, but again, a 5-second stun that can hit all nearby enemies is very powerful. The couple miscellaneous abilities that weren't mentioned and have to do with the Demon Hunter gameplay is Spectral Sight, which is a pretty neat and new ability that on use will show all enemies and treasures behind physical barriers such as a wall or anything that something can be behind, and it also shows enemies that are stealthed. This lasts for 10 seconds, but if you attack or you are attacked and take damage, then this will break your Spectral Sight. So I'll show you what that looks like here. And as you can see, I can see all the training dummies around, underneath, behind. It's pretty neat. It's definitely a cool ability that you don't really see in any other class. Something new that they added with Demon Hunter. The next I'm going to talk about is Double Jump. And you'll learn very quickly that Double Jump is very unique for Demon Hunter. It was very controversial when it came out. I thought so myself. So once you jump, you can hit spacebar again at the top of your jump and jump twice, which is pretty neat for mobility. And I'm showing the next ability here, which is Glide. And what Glide does is if I jump and I double jump and I hit my spacebar again, I will actually glide around. It's kind of like a slow fall, similar to like the Goblin Glider. It makes it really fun for gameplay. The mobility is very awesome. It's just something unique that you won't get in any other class. So that's the video on how to play Demon Hunter. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave it below and subscribe for more daily videos. And I appreciate you guys checking it out, and hopefully this helps you in your journey of becoming a Demon Hunter.